G'day everyone, Brian here, and I'm here at Xanatseni Camp in the Klaserie Private Game Reserve in the Greater Kruger area. And let's start off with our little camp tour. We've got a couple of safaris we're going on. We're only spending a night. It's adjacent to the Timbavati to the south, then Balule to the west, and Kruger National Park to the east. But let's go have a quick camp tour. There's, from memory, 5 rooms here, really nicely done, renovated a couple of years ago. We've had floods in the area about 6 weeks ago, some of the biggest floods that they've had in living memory, but renovated, so it looks good from our room tour, so enjoy the room, and let's go take a tour of the camp. Okay, we're just about to head out on our first game drive here in the Klaserie, and at the moment I think we're probably just hoping that the weather stays fine. I know they had rain in the morning game drive this morning, and it's been quite volatile here lately in the Greater Kruger area, and it's because it's been quite humid. But we did hear that there was lions very close to the camp this morning, and the guys on the morning drive got very, very, very close to them. Apparently they think there might be a kill nearby, but I will report back after today's game drive and tomorrow's game drive. It gets a bit dark in the morning to do this little spiel before the second game drive, but looking forward to see what I can report about our drives here in the Klaserie. So I'll catch you guys soon. Let's have a chat about our drives that we had in Xanatseni and the Klaserie Private Nature Reserve in the Greater Cougar area. We went out the first night and it was quite pleasant, as we'd had a lot of rain around here, and we heard that there were some African wild dogs, and we decided to trek towards them. It was a long drive, so we knew it was going to take up a decent amount of our time on the drive, but they are a rare sighting and they are an endangered species here. They are the most successful African predator. So we went out there. I think there was 4 or 5 wild dogs that we saw, and they were only just hanging around. They weren't moving, so a lot of vehicles got to come in and have a look. And yep, they were just off the side of the main road coming into the reserve. So you've got Timavati Nature Reserve on one side, Klaserie on the other. There's a tar road that splits them in between, no fences. There were the wild dogs. So we spent a bit of probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes there, something like that. And just so happens that nearby, of all things, again, right next to the main entry road, was there were a couple of rhinos there. So that was also a cool sighting. Now, we knew by then we would be running out of time to kind of get back on the drive and stop for a break. I can't even remember if we stopped for sundowners. I think we did. But we went out and we heard about a pride of lion. But when we got there, they were down in a sandy riverbank, and they were quite a ways away. We could just make out outlines of them, but we couldn't get to them because of all the previous rain made the ground or the sand really sodden. Normally in dry sand, these safari vehicles have no problem going along on these riverbeds, but we decided not to, especially as it was getting dark already. So we turned around after actually helping another vehicle that got bogged trying to cross from one side of the bush to the other across this sandy riverbank, and we gave them a hand to get out. And we were about to head back towards camp, and just so happens, literally, we drove past 2 lions that were within 3 or 4 foot of the vehicle, a couple of young male lions. We had just passed them, so we turned around. They'd moved on to another track, so we were able to turn around, chug forward and get in front of them, so we got a nice head-on view of those 2 boys coming towards us, which was really nice. And then ended up heading back to camp and then for dinner. Now the next morning, we were only there at night, so we only had the 2 game drives. We didn't get a wake-up call. So normally in the private reserves, in the camps and the lodges, someone will come and give you a wake-up call, knock on the door to let you know it's time to get ready for safari. And we didn't hear anything. We'd heard a lot of rain during the night. So Nicole and I got up and we went to the main part of the lodge, and there was no one else there because they hadn't sent anyone out to give anyone the wake-up call. They'd made a judgment call that there was just too much rain, and it was going to be too wet out there to drive around. So there was a creek that runs behind the lodge and behind the tents, and sure enough, it was full and it was running quickly. Now, don't get me wrong, safety of guests is paramount, no matter what. Excuse me, and so I thought that was fair. But we asked a young guide that we had there. We only had the one guide, and he said, "I'll go and talk with the tracker and see what he thinks," because by then the rain itself had slowed down. It was just a light sprinkle, and it was starting to, just continue to slow down to kind of no rain. But he went off to talk to the tracker, and that's the last we heard of him. So anyway, 3 hours later, we decided a couple of the other guests had decided they weren't going to go out because they'd heard the rain. But it was 9 o'clock after we had breakfast, and they had no problem us driving out of the camp in our Citroen, whatever it's called, Aircross, which is just a small SUV or small to medium SUV, maybe a compact SUV, I'll call it. And they had no problem letting us take off. Now, we're not driving down tarred roads. We're actually driving on the roads that the safari vehicles go on, and we had no problems. Yes, there was pooled water along the tracks going out, but we had no problem getting out. It was only a few hours after they'd called off the game drive. So I think our feeling was that once the guide had made the decision, tools down in the morning, that he was never going to go and check and see whether it was worthwhile going out at least for a couple of hours drive, which we easily could have in one of the safari vehicles. So, you pay good money to go to these places. They're not cheap. So got to mark it down a little bit because of the fact that we could have gone on drive and it really wasn't checked. They could have gone out 30 minutes. And again, they didn't have any problem with us leaving at 9 a.m. in the morning in our aircross and getting out on the tracks they used to go on game drives. So a bit of a disappointment there. Overall, I think it's a really nice camp. It is good value compared to a lot of other places within Klaserie. So it's kind of at the cheapest end, if you will, yet the quality was still pretty good. Our room was lovely, and the food was good, and generally the staff were pleasant, so we were happy with that. But yeah, definitely marked down for not going out and checking whether we could have gone out on game drive, and we definitely could have, and we'd paid our money. But that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So that's our time in Xanatseni, and I can still recommend it, especially for the value for money it gives in the Klaserie Private Game Reserve. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.